Hey, it's Emily Kemp. Here is my little skeleton guy. We're gonna go through all the blood vessels. So starting at the heart, which is located inside of there, let's try and get a good view. The red right here, that would be the aorta coming down. Okay, and then up here we have the brachiocephalic artery coming around. This is the subclavian artery. And then coming through here, we have the axillary artery, the brachial artery, and then right here, I believe we have this branches into the radial artery on the outside where the thumb is, right here, and then the ulnar artery. And then we have the palmar arch right here, and then we have the digital arteries. So the blood would flow from the heart, which is located in the rib cage, through the aorta to the brachiocephalic trunk and the brachiocephalic artery, to the subclavian artery, the axillary artery, brachial artery, and then to the radio and ulnar arteries, to the pulmonary arch, and then to the digital arteries. That's how the blood would flow from the heart. Going to the legs, so right here, coming from the aorta, we have the common iliac artery, which branches into, this would be the external artery right here, the external iliac artery, and then the internal iliac artery here. It comes down into the femoral artery coming behind the skeleton. And then we have the popliteal artery there. And then we have the anterior tibial artery and the posterior tibial artery, going down to the dorsal pedal artery right here, located at the ankle. And then we have the dorsal venous arch, and then the digital arteries for the toes. Going over to the vein side, if you look at the heart one more time, you have the superior vena cava coming out of the top, which is the arch, and then the inferior vena cava is located right here, going up into the heart. Coming out, we have the external jugular vein and the internal jugular vein. You also have the brachiocephalic vein coming here, and then you have the subclavian vein, the axillary vein, and then you have the brachial vein. His arm's a little broken, so I can't really bend it right now. But located on the side over here, that's the basilic vein, and then on the outside we have the cephalic vein. And then coming down, we have the radial vein on the outside. Missing something here. Here, let's bend his arm right here. Okay, so we have the medial cubital vein right here, going across, the little one right there. And then we have the ulnar vein here and the radial vein here. We have the venous palmar arches here, and then the digital veins here. And then the blood would flow from the fingertips through the digital veins to the venous palmar veins to the radial and ulnar arteries, go through the medial cubital vein, and then go up to the brachial artery, go through the cephalic vein and the basilic vein to the axillary artery, the cephalic vein, and then through the axillary vein to the subclavian vein, and then down through the superior vena cava. Coming from the toes, so this is where you would start, you have the digital veins on the toes, and then you have I believe it's the dorsal venous veins, and then the venous arches here, and then you would come into the anterior tibial vein, and then in the back we have the posterior tibial vein. Coming up here we have the popliteal vein, and then this is the femoral vein from the rear view, and this is the front view of the femoral vein, if I can move him over here. And then on the inside, we have the great saphenous vein going all the way down the leg. And then right here, we have the small saphenous vein. Up here, we would have the, I can't move his arm. Okay. Okay. Up here, we would have, I had a little clay connected right here. We would have the external iliac vein here. This will go up to the common iliac vein, and then the internal iliac vein is here. It would go up through the inferior vena cava into the heart. So the order would be the digital or the digital veins to the venous arches, small saphenous vein and the great saphenous vein, and then you have the anterior and posterior tibial veins. Popliteal veins, the femoral vein that comes up to here, and then it would go through the external iliac vein, the internal iliac vein, and then up to the common iliac vein and to the inferior vena cava. It was a little bit hard to do this. The clay wasn't really working for me that well, but it did give me a better understanding of how blood flow works throughout the body.